Tēnā tātou, ko Tainui te waka, ko Ngāti Maniapoto te iwi, ko Louise Hennessy tōku ingoa. He rūruku rangatahi, me rangahau ahau ki Ag Research. Tēnā tātou katoa. So today I'd like to talk to you about creating and supporting pathways for rangatahi in science. When I was a kid, I loved science. I used to think my high school science teachers were just the coolest people in the world. They knew so much, and I just loved learning cool stuff like why are trees green and how does water just fall out of the sky. So that's how I started my journey in science, a passion for learning, but absolutely no understanding of what scientists in New Zealand even do. So I went to university and I studied for a Bachelor's of Science and gained some understanding of what scientists do, but the pathway was still really unclear to me. I didn't really understand the steps and how to get a job in science in New Zealand. It was my dad who first saw the opportunity for a Māori summer internship program at Ag Research, and he really helped me to apply. And this just turned out to be the best decision of my life. I loved it. We spent the summer running around catching butterflies in this giant net. We'd go out on farm, dig holes, and count all the insects that live underground. We also had this special insect vacuum. So my job was essentially to vacuum all these weevils out of the grass. But by far my favourite job was spotting and collecting tiny little weevil eggs on the blades of grass, and these eggs are about the size of the tip of your pen. To tell you the truth, I'd never even worked with insects before this internship. They asked me if I liked insects when I went for the interview, and I was sort of like, yeah, sure. But this was just like a whole new world. I suddenly became that type of person who goes around and collects random insects in jars, or the type of person that takes endless photos of insects on the work camera and hogs all the memory, and the type of person who would just be like walking down a corridor and come to a sudden halt to observe the behaviour of two insects mating on a wall. Following the internship, I went on to do my Masters of Science and my PhD. To my delight, I discovered that while you're studying, you can actually be awarded small stipends. So I went from this really poor student who ate 2-minute noodles for lunch out of a polystyrene cup to this super posh person who ate fancy flavours of porridge out of a polystyrene cup for lunch. I'm sure many of you can appreciate how hard it is to get into science, how hard it is to find funding and opportunities and stipends. Actually, not once, but twice, a whole year would pass where I was just bouncing between casual contracts looking for my next opportunity. And after spending the best part, well, it was an entire decade, navigating through the challenges of the science system, I felt really passionate and motivated about bringing about some changes. So I approached Ag Research, and I was lucky enough to be given this new role where I can dedicate a portion of my time to helping champion an early career community in Ag Research, and also new pathways for rangatahi to get into science. So we decided to refresh the Māori internship program, which hadn't been run for about 5 years. And because that's how I started my journey in science, I just felt really passionate about it. At first, we did a lot of thinking and talking, making plans and decisions, some more thinking, some more talking, and then we were given this awesome advice about how about we just give it a go. So that's what we decided to do. We decided to create opportunities and spaces for our students to really give us feedback about the internship and how it was going along the journey so that we could mould it into the internship it now is. We gave the program a Māori name to reflect the mana and the importance of the program. So it's called Tapua Waitanga, which means to flourish. We aim to create a thriving community of students in Ag Research who felt well supported and really understood the value of diverse perspectives. We focused on finding the right students first and getting to know them and understand them, what their passions were, what they're interested in, what they saw for their future, and then we'd go ahead and match them with scientists and supervisors and projects at Ag Research. I actually agreed with the co-lead of the program that we'd just start small for the first summer. We'd start with 2 interns. We didn't really know what we were doing, so we just got to get things off to a good start. But then she left me completely unsupervised for the interview stage. And I found 7 awesome rangatahi. I couldn't imagine letting any of them go. So I managed to find extra funding, and we just brought them all in. So this is them here. The students worked on a range of projects, from taonga species and understanding the myths and legends behind taonga species, social science research programs, Indigenous forms of trading, and also the deer research program. After running the program for just one summer, we kind of reflected on it and found that we had 5 key principles, and I'd like to share those with you today, as I believe that they can be applied to all programs looking to attract talent. So those principles are manaakitanga, whanaungatanga, co-design, listen, and empower. So the first one, manaakitanga, this is a real focus of our internship. It's around respect, caring for others, and kindness. After all, our future scientists are human first, we're not robots, and it really is our humanity that makes us curious about something in the first place. Whanaungatanga, this is really important. Unfortunately, whanaungatanga is around creating strong bonds and connections between people. But unfortunately, our students are spread out throughout the whole country. So we had these Zoom meetings every Thursday or Friday, where we would just kind of get together, hang out, talk about our weekend, what our favourite colour is, what we've been doing at work, what was going well, what's not going so well, just creating those strong connections. Co-design, this is really important for students. It helps create a sense of ownership of the research. Some of our students are actually still working on the same research programs today. But co-design was quite funny because it wasn't until months after. Initially, I just told the students, yeah, you co-design your research with the scientists you're working with and with your supervisors and let them do it. But months later, I learned that, in fact, they didn't even know what co-design was, which I thought was a good point because I kind of reflected and thought, yeah, what is co-design? So next year, we'll start with, what do you think co-design is? What do I think co-design is? And how should we go about it? Listening, this is really important. It's about creating the safe spaces for students to speak up, have a voice, challenge ideas, and also to provide feedback on some tough issues like systemic racism. Empowerment. I see empowerment as about truly believing in people and creating those opportunities for them to grow. I'll tell you a little story about one of our students. Just before her interview, she actually cancelled, and she emailed to let me know she just didn't feel that she had the skills, the background, or the education for our internship. I just thought that was crazy to me. I'd read her CV, and I just felt so passionate. I could feel her passion for what she does in her CV. And when I tell the story, I usually say 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but it was more like an hour, just writing the email back to her, just begging her to come in and have a talk to me. And that student is still at Ag Research, and I can tell you she honestly inspires me every single day. So I hear a lot about the talent shortage in the food and fibre sector, but I believe that it's a shortage of programs that we have that really welcome and support our young people. There are plenty of talented people in New Zealand. We just need the right environment to allow people to flourish. Last story, I promise. But in the last week of our internship, we held this feedback session. I scheduled it for 2 o'clock, and I thought, yeah, it'll take about an hour. By 5:30 that night, I thought, guys, we've got to bring this to an end. They just had so many ideas and thoughts and how to improve our program, and I think that's true co-design, co-designing the internship for the next rōpū. So after just one summer, we're really seeing the impacts of this new program. One of our students went back to study at university, 2 went back to Te Kura kaupapa, 1 went on to a new opportunity, which was a result of his interaction with our program, and 3 remained with Ag Research. So we have 1 in genetics, 1 in social science, and the 3rd one who works in engaging with Māori communities. It's just so exciting to see the next generation of scientists in New Zealand. He aha te mea nui o te ao. He tangata, he tangata, he tangata. What is the most important thing in the world? The people, the people, the people. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.